Live from the news center of the Sultanate of Oman Television, here present to you tonight's news bulletin. First, the headlines. His Highness Sayyid Fahd bin Mahmoud Al Saeed receives Their Excellencies the GCC Ministers of Health and the World Health Organization Regional Director for the Eastern Mediterranean. Their Excellencies the Ministers responsible for environmental affairs discuss the joint environmental law for the Gulf Cooperation Council countries. And with the start of its indirect effects on the Sultanate, the tropical cyclone Kiar is currently classified as Category 1. Good evening once again, and thank you for joining us. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. His Highness Sayyid Fahd bin Mahmoud Al Saeed, Deputy Prime Minister for the Council of Ministers, received today Their Excellencies the GCC Ministers of Health, who are participating in their 5th meeting being hosted by the Sultanate. After welcoming the guest, His Highness Sayyid Fahd expressed the Sultanate's appreciation under the wise leadership of His Majesty the Sultan of the efforts being exerted in the health sector in order to enhance the joint Gulf work. His Highness also praised the achievements of the GCC Health Ministers' Council and its role in upgrading the health services in the region. He as well hailed the facilities rendered by the GCC Health Ministers' Council in the pharmaceutical sector, stock of medicines and medical supplies. Their Excellencies the GCC Ministers of Health expressed their thanks to the Sultanate for hosting this meeting, as well as its continued support for anything that strengthened the GCC march. His Highness Sayyid Fahd bin Mahmoud Al Saeed, Deputy Prime Minister for Oman's Council of Ministers, received His Excellency Dr. Ahmed bin Salim Al Mandari, World Health Organization Regional Director for the Eastern Mediterranean. His Highness congratulated His Excellency on his appointment as Regional Director, paying tribute for Dr. Ahmed's achievements while he served in a number of health institutions in the Sultanate and for the experiences he gained through the past years. His Highness Sayyid Fahd also indicated the continuity of supporting scientific competencies of the human cadres in the Renaissance era to undertake their roles both domestically and regionally. His Highness also highlighted that the health sector in Oman has achieved significant achievements locally and globally. The meeting was attended by His Excellency Dr. Ahmed bin Mohammed Al Saeedi, Minister of Health, and Her Excellency Dr. Akjamal Magdmayova, World Health Organization representative in Oman. The Committee of Their Excellencies the Ministers of Health at the GCC countries discussed during its meeting held in Muscat a host of topics of joint concern in the health field, mainly follow-up implementation of decisions by the Supreme Council in health field regarding examination of expatriate workers, the guide to the procedures of strategic stock of medicines and vaccines, and medical requirements manual of unified health procedures at GCC border ports, in addition to the procedures undertaken by health ministries regarding the smart card health file, besides medications, medical devices and supplies exempted from value-added tax, establishing medical cities, studying how to unify classification and registration of medical specializations, and increasing sports activities in all government schools in the GCC countries. At the closing ceremony of the Unified Environmental Law meeting for the Gulf Cooperation Council countries, Their Excellencies, the Ministers and the Secretaries responsible for environmental affairs sent a cable of thanks to His Majesty Sultan Qaboos. The 39th meeting of Their Excellencies, the Ministers and Secretaries discussed the Unified Environmental Law for the Gulf Cooperation Council countries. The meeting was held in Muscat at the office of the Gulf Cooperation Council Advisory Body and reviewed a number of topics related to the development of mutual environmental work between the Gulf countries. The National Multi-Hazards Early Warning Center analysis indicates that the tropical cyclone Kiar is centered west of the Arabian Sea today and classified currently as Category 1, moving towards southwest, and it will continue along the coast of South Sharqiya, Al-Wusta and the Far Governorates during the next 48 hours. The tropical cyclone is about 440 kilometers from the closest point of the Sultanate coast, Ras Al-Madraka, and the surface wind speed at the center is 64 to 82 knots. The indirect effects started yesterday evening in the form of cloud advections occasionally associated with thunder showers with fresh winds over South Sharqiya and Al-Wusta governorates and may extend to Muscat and the Far governorates. Seas will be rough with a maximum wave height of 6 to 8 meters on the coast of South Sharqiya, Al-Wusta and the Far governorates. The National Multi-Hazards Early Warning Center continues to monitor all updates of Kiar, and the Public Authority for Civil Aviation advises the public to follow latest official weather bulletins and reports. And now live from the National Multi-Hazards Early Warning Center at Public Authority for Civil Aviation, our reporter Saleh bin Khalfan Al-Rahbi is there, who will brief us through his guest on the latest developments of the weather condition Kiar. Good evening, Saleh. Are you there? Can we hear you? Saleh?
Good evening, Abdullah. Yes. Yes, Abdullah.
Right. What can you tell us? What kind of updates do you have with your guest
Abdullah,
there?
as you've mentioned, thank you, Abdullah. As you've mentioned, the tropical cyclone has downgraded to Category 1. And to get the latest updates on this system, I have here with me Abdullah bin Rashid Al-Khadouri. He's the Chief Meteorology Planning and Business Development at PACA. So welcome, Abdullah. Can you please give us the latest updates on this tropical system?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First of all, we would like to welcome you, Mr. Sarah, here in the National Multi-Hazards Early Warning Center. The tropical cyclone Kiar is classified now as Category 1. It is away from the coastal areas, about 440 kilometers. It's now with a slow movement. The direction of the movement is in the south westerly direction, westerly direction, with 5 to 10 kilometers per hour. Kind of slowly movement. The latest observation and in the last hours, we record some rainfall in the government of South Sharqiya and south parts of Muscat, and some scattered rain also in the northern parts of Al-Wusta governments. We recorded about 23 millimeters in Ras Al-Had, Sur weather station. Also, we record some less than 5 millimeters in Gurayat, in the southern part of Muscat. These are the latest information. Also, we record some moderate to fresh northeasterly winds in the coastal areas, varied from 15 to 25 knots. That equals about 30 to 50 kilometers per hour.
Okay, so Abdullah, what is your forecast for tonight and the two coming days?
Yes, the latest weather analysis and charts indicate the continuous advection of the clouds from the center of this tropical cyclone. These affected clouds will affect the governments of South Sharqiya for this night and for the next 2 days. It will cause scattered rainfall with different intensities. It can be heavy sometimes, will cause some runoffs and some wadis, little wadis. Also, we expect some of these affected clouds to be in Muscat here, to extend to Muscat government, especially the southern parts of Muscat. Also, by this night and by tomorrow, especially tomorrow, the chance of these affected clouds will be more in government of Al-Wusta, and it is coastal wilayat, our regions. Also tomorrow we expect some scattered rain with different intensities, might be heavy rains on government of Al-Wusta. By Friday morning, we expect government of Dhofar to be affected by this affected clouds that comes from the cyclone. About the position of the cyclone, we expect the cyclone to downgrade also by this night, or the maximum by tomorrow morning to be a tropical storm with less with the wind speed less than 63 knots. Also, it will keep moving with a slow movement to the parallel to the southeastern coastal areas, parallel to the south, the coastal areas of Government Al-Wusta and Dhofar. And it will be away from the Sultana coastals about 200, from 150 kilometers to 250 kilometers. That means it's still the probability of crossing the coastal areas will be very low, with weak chances of crossing this cyclone to our coastal areas. It will keep with a parallel movement to our coastal areas with a distance of at least 200 kilometers.
So, Abdullah, also there is another tropical system developing in the Arabian Sea. Can you please also update us on that system?
Yes, for today we observed a new developing of a new tropical system, depression, located in the southeastern part of Arabian Sea. It is very away from us. It is about 2,500 kilometers away from us. We are still keeping observing the system. There is no any effect from the system to our to the Sultanate in the coming 5 days. There is some forecast that this system will deep in to be tropical deep depression in the next few hours. Then by tomorrow we expected it will also deepen to be tropical storm. However, we are still keeping eyes on that system. There is no effect until now from that system for the next 5 days. We are concentrating all of our work here to observe also and analysis all the changes that may happen to the tropical cyclone Kayar. Kayar is now just away 400 kilometers, and if any changes happen in the direction or any update, for sure we will send all the information and will update you and all the public.
Thank you, Abdullah. So, Abdullah, as you have seen, PACA here advises all the public to follow the latest weather bulletins and to get the latest updates. Thank you, Abdullah, and now over to you with the rest of the news at the studio.
Thank you very much, Saleh. That was Saleh live briefing us on the development of this weather condition that we see it in the Sultanate of Oman. Thank you, Saleh. A number of wilayas of the Sultanate, particularly the coastal areas, were affected by the indirect impacts of the tropical condition Kayar. More details in the following report.
In the governorate of Musandam, the coastal areas near the coast of the wilaya of Daba witnessed indirect effects of the tropical condition Kayar, which led to the entry of sea waves in some houses and streets near the coast. The fishermen also took their boats out of the port in cooperation with the port administration in anticipation of the effects of the tropical situation on the port. and the municipality of Daba is opening roads and paths affected by the entry of water, in addition to installing guidelines and alerts. Meanwhile, a number of villages in the coastal wilaya of Barka have witnessed the effects of the tsunami caused by the tropical condition Kayar, as the seaside village of Al Muraisi was affected by sea waves entering villages that flooded homes. Waves continue to rise along the coastline of wilaya of Barka and Musana. The wilaya of Sur and Niabat Ras Al Had witnessed moderate to heavy rainfall, causing a number of tributaries and wadis to overflow, such as wadis of Grama Creek area in Sur. Government and private institutions continued their efforts to deal with the tsunami which occurred in Niabat Ras Al Had in order to reduce its effects, as the tsunami exceeded its level and entered the houses located on the coastal line. Citizens were therefore evacuated from their homes and moved to safe and higher places. In the governorate of South Sharqiya, Niabat al-Ashqara in wilaya of Ja'lan Bani Bu Ali witnessed this morning moderate to heavy rains accompanied by active winds, and the sea waves was 6 to 8 meters high due to this tropical condition. In the governorate of Al-Wusta, the wilaya of Mahwoud also witnessed a cumulative flow of clouds from the east and northeast, which led to active winds movement and caused some dust.
Of course, we have seen the effect of rain as due to these weather changes in the country. And now the Public Authority for Civil Aviation called upon citizens and residents living near to the coastal areas and low-lying places to be cautious as a result of high seas and strong waves. The authority also warned drivers and walkers in the open spaces to take necessary precautions due to expectations of low horizontal visibility because of active winds, calling on everyone to be careful and not to cross flowing wadis caused by heavy rains associated with the tropical cyclone. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman television, and still to come in our news bulletin. The winter season in the wilaya of Nizwa starts by luring tourists from around the world. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. Discussing a number of military fields matters of common concern topped the meeting of Air Vice Marshal Matar bin Ali Al Ubaidani, Commander of Royal Air Force of Oman, with General Joseph G. Costella, Air Force Commander at the U.S. Central Command. The meeting also exchanged cordial talks and viewpoints in the military field. Seeking to enhance continuous efforts to face the cyber attacks, the works of 7th version of regional exercise to evaluate readiness of response to information emergency continued in Muscat. The exercise came within the events of the Cybersecurity Week, the idea of exercise which witnessed the participation of more than 600 specialists from 45 countries based on implementing virtual cyber attacks and analyze them by participating teams to discover the needed means to face them and limit their effects. The activities of the Omani Forum for Partnership and Social Responsibility started its third round in Muscat. The forum reviewed a number of strategies and initiatives of social responsibility for companies. The 2 days forum also included inauguration of a partnership signing platforms and launching of the initiatives. The forum also included a number of work sessions on designing social responsibility strategies, a mechanism of implementation, and its result. The opening ceremony was presided over by His Highness Sayyid Faisal bin Turki Al Said. With the advent of the winter season, the Wilaya of Nizwa witnessed an active tourism movement due to its historical components that have made this Wilaya a destination for tourists from all over the world. More details in the following report by Saleh bin Khalfan Al-Rahbi.
The Wilaya of Nizwa in Al-Dakhiliya Governorate is renowned for its abundant natural and historical touristic elements that attract visitors from around the world. These days, the Wilaya is witnessing an active tourist turnout from outside the Sultanate.
It's the first time in Oman. This is, I see, we're extremely, very pleasantly surprised. Beautiful country, everything's so proper and clean, and everything is, and the people are extremely friendly. This is really, as they say, this is the jewel of the Middle East for sure. Again, we've only been here one day, but I feel that we've experienced quite a bit of the very good and just wonderful place.
Walking through the corridors of the traditional market in Nizwa gives the tourists an opportunity to explore the unique traditional products. Jewelry, silverware, copperworks, textiles are some of the prominent products available in the souk, among many other traditional products and souvenirs.
We've been here for 2 days and we love it. We've been yesterday to Wadi Sab, which was really nice canyon with the oases and the pools and the ride with the boat. And now we've come and we're here in Nizwa, okay, and we're visiting the market, the souk. And we're leaving tomorrow, and we still have plenty to do to visit the mosques and other sightseeings in Oman.
Nizwa Fort is yet another famous landmark in this wilaya. Through its distinctive architecture and design, it offers visitors glimpses of the deep-rooted Omani history, heritage, and culture. Saleh bin Khalfan Al-Rahbi, Wilaya of Nizwa, Al-Dakhiliya Governorate.
Thank you, Saleh. And this is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. His Highness Sayyid Fahd bin Mahmoud Al Said receives their excellencies, the GCC Ministers of Health and the World Health Organization Regional Director for the Eastern Mediterranean. Their Excellencies, the ministers responsible for environmental affairs, discuss the joint environmental law for the Gulf Cooperation Council countries. And the start of its indirect effects on the Sultanate, the tropical cyclone Kiar is currently classified as Category 1. And with that, we do conclude this news bulletin brought to you live from this news center of the Sultanate of Oman television. From the entire news team and myself, we thank you for joining us, wish you a pleasant evening, and good night.